Just pretend we're not here. Yeah. Pretend we're a pint glass. Yeah, we're just a pint glass.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cami Kaos, and this
is Rick Turoczy, and we are. That's probably the first time I've actually taken the handoff correctly.
Well,
so I would just
why did you interrupt?
I just wanted to.
You were doing so well.
Small wins. Got to celebrate the small wins. So taking the handoff correctly, small win. I'm Rick Turoczy. Cami and I, as you already know, are mildly interesting people, and because of that, we are always on a quest to bring far more interesting, dare I say, wildly interesting people to the podcast to chat with us, to keep you entertained far more than we would be capable of doing. So, Cami, who is our guest this week?
This is exciting for many, many reasons. One of the reasons that this is exciting is this is the first time we've had a guest on the show that we both know of and who they are, but we don't actually know her. We've never met her in person. And it's just the smallness of our world that has like collided our paths. So she is dating a friend of mine. And after I realized that they had gotten serious, I decided that I needed to know who this person was. And so I started following her mildly on Instagram. And then she was just really cool. So I decided that my friend, who's never been on this show, would need to talk to her for me. I was like passing notes in elementary school. I was like, will you send her a note and ask her if she will be on my show? She can just check this box if it's yes. So there was a little behind the scenes navigation. I don't know what happened on their end of it. And he said it was okay to reach out. And I was very excited. And so now we're going to talk to an amazing human person named Christina Rose. And among other things, she's going to talk to us about her love of beer and how she travels all over the place, enjoying different beers from amazing local locations, and shares that with the internet.
Thank you,
Hi,
Cami.
Christina Rose. Hi. Welcome.
Like Cami said, I am a big beer lover. I have a beer Instagram, Love Christina Rose, where I post about all of my travels and beers and kind of all things adjacent to that. And I'm really excited to be here. It was fun.
So I want to put this out just like right from the start so that I don't want to hide anything from you. I don't like beer.
But I've heard that you're celiac or you can't consume gluten.
I cannot consume gluten, but that's actually just a happy coincidence because I've hated beer my entire life. Like when other kids are like sipping their dad's beers, I was like, whoa, and I never got over that. I've never gotten over that. I finished one beer in my entire life, and it was a PBR at a roller derby. I know you don't have to make that face. I know. It was lightly flavored water, which is probably the reason I was able to finish it at a roller derby match. And that's literally the only entire beer I've ever consumed. My partner, on the other hand, he loves beer.
Beer is good. I like
and
beer.
Most of the folks I know who really love beer and are like beer enthusiasts and have like, we know people who have like built entire website structures to review beers all over the world. And they're like, it's all guys. So nothing makes me more bored than like beer and a guys club. And so the idea of having you come on and talk to me about something that I literally don't know much about and being an awesome woman who is like independent and fierce was really exciting to me. So I would like to know how you got into beer in the first place.
Oh, that's a good question. So I did not like beer when I first tried it. And it was because I think it was like probably a Coors Light at a college party. I didn't drink until college. I'm one of those. I was a good kid.
Good job, Christina Rose.
The first times I tried beer, I also was like, no, this is gross. But it was probably a Coors Light or, Busch Light, something not great. And then one night I got drunk enough at a party that all that was left was like light beer. And I tried it. I was like, oh, this isn't bad. Okay. So I started trying beers and like exploring a little bit. And then what kind of really got me into craft beer was there's a bar in my college town called Ginger's. Well, I guess it burnt down. Well, the restaurant next to it burnt down. And so it had like damage. And It's been closed. But anyways, it had a 40 tap tour. So they had 40 taps. And basically the goal was to drink through all of them. Not in like a certain amount of time.
One night.
Well, yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. It was like spread out. And it was like the week or whatever. There were specials and stuff. And so my best friend and I, we just went through the list, and everything was always changing. So there was always like, oh, I haven't had
that was my next
yet, but like number 19.
That was my question. Is it rotating?
Yeah. So it always changed. And so that kind of really got me into it. And I remember there being like all kinds of different flavors. And I remember at first hating IPAs, and now I'm like, oh, I love IPAs. Yeah. And so I don't know, after that, I kind of just started exploring more and more and like seeking out new breweries. And then I moved to Chicago and really kind of started getting into beer and looking more and more. And actually that same best friend, she came for a weekend, and that's when I found my favorite brewery, Dovetail. And it's kind of been, I don't know, it's been a good time.
I've heard of Dovetail.
You really? Yeah. From my Instagram? Or things?
Probably.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask one more obnoxious I don't drink beer question, but because I do smell beer. And the notes when I smell anyone I'm out that I'm close enough with, if they're drinking beer, I'll be like, may I smell that, please? I'm not shy about sniffing people's beverages for some reason. Maybe I should be. But what can you learn about a beer just from the nose?
Oh, that's a good question. So I feel like I think there's like 3 main components to beer tasting, and one is smell, sight, and then like taste. And there's different elements to taste or whatever, but with the smelling, I feel like you often get a really good idea of what the beer is going to taste like just without having to try the beer. Usually the notes kind of line up really well with whatever the actual flavor is. So like for an IPA, like usually it's, well, like especially like a New England, like a hazy IPA, usually it's pretty fruity and juicy. And
Cat's joining us. Sorry.
Welcome.
He has no manners.
He has no opinion on beer either, so he doesn't really have a spot in the country.
Probably not. Continue. IPAs.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, so with IPAs, often they'll have like really fruity, either citrusy or tropical kind of scents, and so you can, from just the nose, from just smelling it, you can kind of get a lot of what you're going to experience in the beer. And then, taste is like related to your smell. So when you're tasting it, you're still getting a lot of the flavors from what you're smelling while you're drinking it. It's helping you kind of taste the beer as well.
You mentioned hazy IPA, which seems to be the latest trend that everybody's got to brew a hazy. Do you see those trends throughout your travels, or is that kind of a U.S. centric thing? Does everybody in the major craft towns they're doing hazy, we got to start doing hazy? Like, do the trends work that way, or do they kind of just go their own direction?
That's a good question. I feel like American craft beer influences the rest of the world, right? Like I feel like we all learned how beer is from everywhere, but really Europe, like Germany, that kind of area of the world is kind of the ones that did it the best first. But I feel like now American craft beer is like the thing. And so I would say, I don't know, for the most part, I feel like even when I'm other places, you still see like a lot of IPAs, a lot of hazy IPAs. But often they'll take kind of their own twist on it, right? Or like add some local fruit or some other sort of local spin on it that's either, I don't know, something that's popular there or something that's pleasing to the people that live there. You know what I mean? Because I feel like some American IPAs can be really bitter, and I feel like people in other countries aren't used to that flavor yet, or non-beer drinkers, even in the U.S., So that kind of, I don't know.
What's the zaniest IPA mix-up you've seen?
Oh.
Is that your question, Rick?
No, yeah.
Oh,
close
okay.
enough.
that would be crazy. Same question. I don't know. Trying to think. I don't know about zaniest. I guess, there's one. I haven't tried it. But the weirdest beer, I don't know what the style is, but there's a brewery in Minnesota that did like a Hormel chili cheese beer. And apparently it actually tastes like that. And I'm like, I don't know why you want that in a beer.
Yeah. That's like when you start turning weird things into ice cream.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, like pickle ice cream or something. Like just you can have both of those things independently. I'd try it.
Right. But pickle, ice cream, both are delicious.
Right.
Well, I've been sitting here drinking my martini, and that doesn't seem fair because I happen to know that both of you have 2 beers in the wings waiting. So let's do a little mini mildly interesting tasting.
All right.
Do you want to talk about the beers? Christina Rose, you go first. Talk about the beers that you've got to try. And then we'll move on to Rick. Okay. And then everyone can drink the beer except I'll drink the martini.
That seems fair.
I'll just keep doing my thing. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I have a Dovetail beer. Should be of no surprise to anyone. And it's a Dovetail, which is like one of my all-time favorite beers. My boyfriend hates Pilsners, but knows that I love them. And so whenever there's one there, I get it and I don't have to share.
He's trouble. I'm just, in case you didn't know. Trouble.
Yeah, true. But absolutely delicious, wonderful beer. And then I also have from Revolution Brewing, which is another Chicago brewery. It's actually the largest craft brewery in Illinois. We do have a couple other large breweries, but they're not craft anymore. So we got Revolution. And this is Cold Time. It's a premium lager. I don't know if there's any other details on it. I had one at the tap room and it was delicious. And it's actually, this is like test beer. It was like a PR beer. So it has not been canned yet. It was just canned like for the like employees and stuff, and to give to friends or whatever. So I think they probably will can it because it's pretty good, but the margins aren't great on like canned craft lager because people want to spend, cheap macro budget when they want lager. But I'm like, there's a difference.
Yeah. And what's like the ABV on those? Or do they generally run pretty low for a lager?
Yeah. So the Pilsner, the Dovetail is 4.7, and then the Revolution Cold Time is 4.9. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, very
awesome.
Pretty low.
Do I get to read off mine now? So I have
beers.
I have an ex novo, but it's a collab with a brewery out of New Mexico. I think New Mexico. It's called the most interesting lager in the world. I haven't had it, so I'll be trying it for the first time. It's 5 ABV. And then another brewery that we just discovered here in Portland called Rosenstadt. This is a Helles lager, and I think it's like a 5.4. It's not very heavy either. We're in that season where people are like, here's a quadruple hopped IPA that's like 12.7 or whatever. So these seem very light. So I'm looking forward to trying that as well.
So while you two crack open your beers, I'm going to start with the next question because Christina, you said something kind of like twice that I picked up on the second time. You said they're not really a craft brewery anymore. So what's the difference between a craft brewery and a regular brewery?
Okay, that's a good question. So honestly, it kind of depends on, people have different varying definitions. But my definition is basically it's independently owned. So isn't necessarily like owned or like operating under like a large conglomerate or anything like that. But so that's my opinion. So but some people would say kind of it depends on the kind of beer you make more so than than your ownership structure or whatever. So some people would say, for example, Goose Island Brewery. They're owned by AB InBev, and so I would say they're not craft, but they do a lot of like crafty things and often appear or like put themselves out as like a craft brewery. But I would say, I guess craft to me is independent. But so since they're owned, they're not independent anymore.
Yep. Awesome. Have you been to Portland? Have you been out here to try our beers ever?
Barely. I was there. We went to Willamette Valley.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Willamette Valley last year to go to wine country. So we went there and we stayed in McMinnville.
Yep.
That's a great place to stay if you're going to wine country. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool
For
town.
sure.
And we went to a really cute brewery. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but they made great beers. They had a lot of good lagers on tap. And it was very exciting to me after a day of like drinking wine. I was like, oh, beer.
So next time you come to Portland with that guy, we're all going to get together. Most of the breweries in Portland will also serve cider, which I do happen to enjoy and drink. So next time you're in Portland, the four of us are going brewery hopping. Just saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because there's some great places here.
I hear all the good things about all the breweries and stuff. And we need to just like specifically go there just for the beer, I think.
Just to do that. Yeah.
And food. And
the food's good too.
Here.
Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, I was curious because like, especially as you're talking about craft, like one of the things that's super important to Portland history was, some brewers here really worked to get the laws changed so that they could be brewers who brewed on premises, had the best, freshest product for their folks. And so it's just a really interesting beer culture here. And I think one of the things I've always appreciated about it is how collaborative and sharing the brewmasters and the artisans are. Like that it's just a really interesting almost artist commune kind of collaboration among brewers. Do you see that all over the world, or is that something that's unique to the US? Or
that's a good question. I guess I don't know. I don't want to say that I haven't seen it internationally, but it's definitely I feel like super, super popular in the US, whether it's breweries like in the same like location kind of collaborating with each other, or like across the country, or like across borders even, sometimes maybe there's a Canadian brewery that collabs with a US brewery and it's just easier for them to brew the beer in the US so it can be sold to the US market or whatever kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I feel like the beer community is very, I guess, friendly and collaborative, and like for the most part, I feel like it's like there's room at the table for everyone, right? Like we want everybody to succeed. Like, oh, you're out of this hop. Oh, I have some. I'll lend it to you or whatever. Hit me back when you get some more later. Like, whatever it may be, which I really like.
Yeah, I love that too. In doing research, which I always do, regardless of whether I know the guest really well or not.
But wait, Rick, can we hear about the beers first?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Christina, tell us about the beer you're drinking.
So like I said, this is the Dovetail Brewing Pilsner. I will read, this pretty much sums it up. It's Pilsner, spicy, full-bodied, and satisfying. I would say that's accurate. I really like the kind of little bit of spicy, I don't know, almost peppery maybe, kind of hops that hoppy flavor that Pilsners often have. And it you can kind of get that when you on the nose from the aroma as well. You kind of can smell the I don't know, kind of bitter hoppiness a little bit. And then it also smells sweet. I would say it doesn't taste as sweet though, but you definitely can taste the it's like a bready kind of yeasty, but not funky yeasty, but a bread kind of flavor.
Like a baked bread kind of flavor?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It's I feel like it's hard to get creative with describing lagers, but it's
But this is one of your favorite lagers, right?
Yeah. It's absolutely delicious. And it's I don't know. You could drink it all the time.
Rick, what are you drinking?
I'm having the Ex Novo, the most interesting lager in the world, and it is.
Is it indeed the most interesting lager in the world?
It's interesting. I don't know if it's the most interesting lager in the world. I don't know that I have a refined enough palate to tell you if it's the most interesting lager in the world. But I will tell you, it very much, the nose of it is very much a traditional lager, but the spiciness and the taste of it, you definitely get that Mexican influence. We have a few Mexican breweries that brew very different and very authentic kind of Mexican brews, and it's not as heavy as one of those. So it's like a nice, not as heavily flavored as one of those. So it's this nice mix between the two. I would drink this on a regular basis for sure.
Nice.
I'm super excited because though I don't drink beer, I'm the one who does all the groceries. And so I'm the one that picked the beer and was like, okay, I'm just following Christina's instructions, buying some lagers. Had a great Instacart shopper who was like, I'm worried because you wanted this in bottles and this one only comes it's in cans. And I was like, dude,
like, sure.
Just bring me the beer. It's fine. It's all good. All right. So now, Rick, now that we've discussed the first beers, you may ask your next question.
Yeah, I was just curious. Christina, you're very comfortable in front of the camera. You've been recording off and on for a very long time. I was just curious, like, when did that spark for recording the beer really come? Because you'd done vlogging, you'd done some other stuff, and really you could have taken that any direction, but you kind of honed in on the beer. And I was just kind of curious when those paths collided for you.
Yeah, that's a good question. I was gonna say, yeah, I do have a YouTube channel, but I'm not good at keeping up with it. But there's a couple videos from the last
Doesn't matter. We're linking it. It's linked somewhere. We're linking it. We'll find it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, clearly. But yeah, I don't know. I had been like into beer for a while, and then I feel like videos kind of became more and more of a thing on Instagram and social media and whatnot. And I kind of had an idea, and it was kind of like an excuse basically to be able to get a new beer every week, whether I was out or like buy a 4-pack of cans to bring home, and do Freshy Friday videos on Fridays. And so I'd had the idea for a while, and I was kind of too chicken to do it. And so I went to one of my favorite bottle shops, Bitter Pops, one day after work, had, I think, probably at least 2 beers, like had a couple beers, got myself like kind of warmed up. And I was like, I'm doing Freshy Friday. It was this Hot Butcher beer who like, they make the best like hazy double IPAs and stuff. I think pretty much out of anyone. And I was like, I'm doing it. It was canned yesterday. It's Freshy Friday. It's going to be amazing. And so I got home and I sat down and I filmed it, and I was like, okay, post it. Okay, we're good. And so just kind of went from there. And I feel like for the most part, my Freshy Fridays are like, what holds me back from the YouTube is like the editing. It's like, oh, that's a really long process.
Yeah.
Work. I mean, with the podcast, like same thing.
If I had to edit the podcast, we wouldn't do a podcast.
Right, yeah.
So Rick has to edit.
It's a hard job, but someone's got to do it. Good work. But so I just kind of started filming and being like, I'm not like really editing anything unless something happens, right? Like sometimes I've like spilled the beer in the middle, and I'm like, we're going to have to pause for a second.
Oh, see, I would be like, look, I spilled the beer. Everyone, this is what happens to beer. I would take the easy way.
Yeah. But so, it's just like record through, and I just trim it off and I upload it and, write a caption and whatever. But it's a lot less effort than like editing a whole YouTube video. And it's kind of fun to share with people.
What got you started in vlogging and blogging in the first place?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, honestly, my sister was really into watching like beauty guru YouTubers in like high school, I guess I would say, back in like the late 2000s, that kind of time period. And she was into it. And so I started getting into it, and I started like following a bunch of like beauty bloggers and stuff. And I was kind of like, oh, I could do that. Like, I'm into makeup. Like, let's do it. So I started, and just kind of had fun with it. And so I kind of went from everywhere from, doing kind of beauty stuff or like more, not really fashion, but like beauty accessories and kind of stuff. And then kind of evolved into vlogging. And there's always been like controversy between like, should you have 2 YouTube channels or like 2 Instagrams if you're like, have like a public facing one or like the private one. And I've always just been like, and I'm always just like, I'm putting it all in one place, and it is what it is, and like, follow me if you want to follow me, kind of a thing. Instead of trying to be like,
you want to follow Christina. Everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, Christina, she's awesome. You're welcome.
Thank
Continue.
You. Appreciate it. No, I mean, yeah, that's about it. But yeah, it's been a long time. It's been, I mean, I guess like over a decade now since I probably uploaded my first YouTube.
Yeah.
So I have to say, due to Rick's impeccable research, I know that you used to be on Blogger.
What?
Blogger? The Blogger platform. Did you say she used to be on Blogger?
Mm-hmm. No,
never. I misunderstood. I thought that he said you used to be on the Blogger platform, which is an old blogging platform that I used to be on. And so I was like, oh, never mind. No. You don't even have to edit that out. It's okay. People know I'm dingy. I don't care.
It just doesn't listen. I don't know. He said something.
Blogger can mean so many things. Blogger. It can mean many things. Yeah. I'm glad that you didn't use Blogger. Blogger was a travesty. It's all good. No, it's not a good platform. It's not a good platform. So I was going to commiserate with you about how it wasn't a good platform. But now I'm just going to say, gee, I'm glad you didn't have to use that. Well done. Aside from beer, what has been your favorite topic to talk about on the internet?
Oh, I guess I don't know. I feel like currently, and I guess it always kind of has been travel and sharing either what I'm doing or, sharing what other people are doing too, and talking about kind of what I've seen and what's exciting and whatnot. I don't know. I love to travel. Like it's really fun. And to be able to kind of share that and talk to people about that is great. Yeah. And then within the last few years, I got into like points and miles and things and,
nice
points to like spend on travel or earning status and things like that. So kind of talking about and sharing stuff about that is newer to me, but I've been following a lot of people for like several years now. And so I'm like really into it. But I feel like my social media presence is still mostly beer. But definitely some, travel and points and miles things kind of intermixed.
So what is your favorite place that you've traveled to? And do you have any tips or tricks for folks who are looking to visit that area, that region, that country, that city, that place?
Oh, okay. So my favorite city, and now it feels weird to say that still, because I haven't been in like 6 or 7 years, maybe 8 years. I don't know. Is Valencia, Spain. I just think it's the perfect, it's like a little beach city. It's like the perfect, beach city in Spain. And it's touristy, but I feel like it's not as touristy as like Barcelona or other places in southern Spain. So I feel like you get much more of that like authentic like Spanish culture in there. I don't know. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful beach. They have like, an old town, and they also have kind of a much, much, much newer city of arts and sciences. And they've got like an aquarium and museums and stuff. And it's all really cool architecture. I think it's all Calatrava. I forget what his first name is, but famous Spanish architect. I don't know anything else about architecture except for Calatrava. But and then
that's okay. All I really know about architecture is Gaudi in Spain. So you and I, we each get one. Yeah.
But the old town's really cool. And I think in general, Spain is much like Europe, right? Traveling there, or once you get there, it's really easy to travel around, taking trains or buses or other planes or whatever. So not really too hard to like get there or anything. I think they even have a high speed rail from Madrid and maybe even Barcelona. So easy to get there. The one thing I would say, I would highly recommend going for Las Fallas in the spring. I think it's usually just like a week in March. And it's this big festival where basically they make, I don't know if the material matters, but kind of like paper mache sculptures. And they can be anything from like, like human size to like, I don't know, 50 feet, like huge kind of like big float almost things. Have you guys heard of this before?
No.
Oh, okay. So anyways,
this is amazing.
So they make all these, and I heard about it the first time I was in Spain, and I was like, oh, that sounds dumb. That's like touristy. And then when I went back, I was like, that looked really cool, actually. I'm going to try it out. And like, I had the most amazing time. So, but they like build these sculptures, and it's like a month-long kind of process. And there's like different, organizations or companies or neighborhoods will build their own sculptures. And then the main, I guess there's like, I don't remember what it's called, but they do like fireworks during the day, which are really just loud bangs, and it's loud and crazy and stuff. And then on the last night, and then there's like a whole award ceremony and stuff, and people win awards and medals and whatever for having the best ones. And then they just burn them all. They just light them on fire.
Oh, wow.
Let them burn.
That part appeals to me. That's amazing.
It's really cool.
I
just
love
to
that.
be there, and you're like, oh, I liked that one that was here in this square, and now it's just like down into ashes. Like, I don't know.
From an American culture standpoint, it sounds kind of like the way different communities and different organizations come together. It sounds kind of like Mardi Gras floats, or like Mardi Gras.
Like floats. Kind of the same thing. Yeah, same kind of vibe, just like stationary statues instead.
Cool. Very cool.
But yeah.
What is the kind of like top of your, and it doesn't have to be the next place you're going or the next 5 places you're going, like what's that dream location that you haven't yet had the opportunity to visit, but that you're most looking forward to visiting?
Good question. So I'm torn between 2. I think the one, and it's dumb, it's because, everybody goes there, but the Maldives, have an overwater villa and just like live in luxury for a week.
Yeah.
Sounds incredibly amazing. I really want to do it.
That's irresistible.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I feel like it's kind of overhyped, and it's definitely, you can definitely get a similar experience for less money, but I'm like, just to say that you've been to the Maldives. So one day I do hope to do that. Although I think it's basically, there's not much outside of the actual resorts to go and do.
Yeah.
But,
so it's not really a cultural experience. It's just a relaxing experience.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's still worth it. It sounds like to me.
I think so. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the other?
On the other side of the coin is I really want to go to Belize. I don't know. I've like seen so many beautiful pictures and videos, and like I really want to explore more of like Central, South America, Latin America, like all of that. I would like to spend a lot more time there. And Belize is one of the places that I'm like most excited to go to, and just be able to experience the culture and eat good food and hang out,
Yeah. There are some, especially water features, some lake waterfall areas in Belize that I've heard about that are just like
gorgeous,
mind-blowingly amazing.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to kind of change pace here and ask you a super serious question. And I wouldn't have known to ask you this, but you mentioned it in the intake form. Talk to me about the Jonas Brothers' latest album and their tour.
Oh, yes, the Jonas Brothers. I love the Jonas Brothers. They're coming out with an album May 12th. It's called The Album. It's a little pretentious. It's a little.
Okay, I've heard more pretentious than that.
Fair, but I'm really excited for it. They've released a couple singles off of it that are both really good, and allegedly they're going on tour. They keep teasing it, but they keep not announcing it, and so I don't know when it's actually going to happen or what's going to happen. But my birthday is in September, and I don't have any plans because my plan is to see the Jonas Brothers. But I don't know where they're going to be.
Have you seen the Jonas Brothers in concert before?
Yes. Yeah. I think my first concert was probably in 2005, 2006. Like I was like a kid. Well, I'm like a day short of a year older than Nicholas Jonas, the youngest one.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm like their age kind of a thing. So I was a kid.
Yeah.
They were all kids.
Yeah.
But, so I've seen them, I think 2 or 3 times when I was younger, and then 5 or 6 times since 2019. I think I went to 4 shows in the Happiness Begins tour and then 2 shows in the Remember This tour. So
who is the best Jonas brother?
Nick Jonas.
Nick is? Okay. Nick?
Yeah.
You're now my favorite Jonas. I didn't have an opinion before. I have an opinion now, just adopting hers. I feel like you know your shit. So Nick Jonas, you're the best Jonas brother. Thank you for giving this to me. Where are we on our beers, lady and gentleman?
I could try my other one. I just did a taster on my one.
Oh, I pulled the whole.
Let's do it.
The other one.
Let's find out about the second beer. So Rick's second beer is a German style lager made in Portland. Christina's second beer, I don't have the knowledge of, but I hear them being open.
It's a premium lager. Is the kind it's like the style it says it is. So I don't remember what it was. If it was like American style lager, if it had something else, but I don't know.
Is this the one that was not previously canned?
Yeah. That's quite good.
What do we think? If we had a cage match with the other lagers that you tasted, who would win?
I feel like the Pilsner still wins for me.
Okay.
It's a little like
Rick? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's a little more aggressive. No, you're fine. This one's like easier to drink, but
okay. And Rick?
It's definitely German style. Like it has that, like German beers have like that bitter back of your tongue kind of feel to them.
Is that
really
how German
heavy.
people speak German with their tongue? They get the bitterness on the back of their tongue, and then their tongue is in the right place.
That's why they just sip. That's why they sip the beer all day, just so that they get that. But yeah, almost like a Lowenbrau or like one of those traditional like German breweries you would think of. It's got a lot of that flavor to it. Super interesting. And to pull that off in Portland, like I don't know exactly how they did that, but
I was surprised. Yeah, I was a little surprised that we had German style lagers in Portland. So
yeah, that's good.
Okay, it's time.
Okay.
For me to ask you the 5 mildly interesting questions.
Yeah, take a swig because it's going to get rough from here on out.
Do you feel emotionally prepared for these lightning round questions?
I suppose so.
It's okay. It'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be good. What is your favorite but least useful hobby?
Okay. I was going to say like napping, but I feel like that's useful, like getting more rest.
That's a great hobby.
That's my favorite hobby as well. That's the best hobby anyone can have.
I'll just take a nap. I play games on my phone, like probably way too much.
And
what's
your favorite phone game?
That's what I was gonna say. So I really love they're these they're kind of like Sudoku, but they're other like Japanese number games. And so I go back and forth. There's Pick-a-Picks and Fill-a-Picks. I really like both of those. And they're basically like, I don't know, you have numbers and some of them have different colors and stuff. And you have to like either fill in the box or like fill in the lines to line up with the number and the colors or whatever that are required. So I absolutely love those kind of games. And it's like a little bit of, strategy and you kind of have to think about it, but it's like, ultimately they're pretty easy, pretty straightforward to do.
Sounds soothing.
Yeah, kind of is. Yeah. Kind of is. Yeah. Kind of go and fill in the little boxes and stuff. So I enjoy it.
All right, next question. Spike is excited to hear about this one. This is his favorite question. Okay. Would you like to survive the zombie apocalypse?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't thrive in like uncomfortable, like physically uncomfortable situations.
So you don't like camping, I'm hearing.
No.
That's what I'm hearing from you. You're not a camper. Yeah,
No.
neither am I.
Yeah.
Camping is not. Yeah. Excellent. That's an excellent answer. Because any answer to that question is excellent, really, as long as it's your answer. This is the one that I warned you earlier. People sometimes have to look at their phone for. So don't be shy if you need to. What is the last food that you photographed?
I will look at my phone. I don't know.
It's kind of like the phone a friend on the old,
Yeah, it is. It's the phone a friend, but your friend is the phone.
Yep.
I photographed a pretzel.
Ooh,
nice.
Where did the pretzel come from?
It's from Lucky Door, which is a craft beer bar, unsurprisingly.
Nice.
And it's
I'm
like
so shocked.
right, like within, it's like Gallagher Way is like the Wrigley Field kind of area, the Cubs field. And so we stopped there. We went to the game on Sunday. It was freezing, but we got a pretzel, got some beers. It was a good time.
I miss pretzels. Someone's going to learn how to make a soft gluten. No, don't feel bad. It's fine. But someone someday will learn how to make a good soft gluten-free pretzel, and I will love them. Yeah. What is the best season?
Summer. Definitely summer. I love the warmth.
You're a summer person.
I do appreciate summer, by like water, so you can like hop in and cool down. Summer definitely in general.
Yep.
Yeah.
So weird that someone in Chicago wouldn't say winter. That's just odd.
All right.
I love the lake effect. It's so amazing.
Final question of the lightning round questions. Magnets or stickers?
I think stickers. I don't know. Like I do collect stickers.
That is correct.
Beer stickers. Yeah. I don't know.
Nice.
Like magnets are nice and all, but I definitely prefer stickers.
With one exception, when someone says magnets, I'm always like, we had a rocket scientist, and I allowed his answer of magnets because he actually uses them in his science work. And I was like, okay, I accept that. But the correct answer to that one is definitely stickers. So you've done well. Good. You've done very well.
I passed the test.
Nice work. You did.
Yes,
absolutely.
You passed the test. It's all
your
good.
Your answers have been recorded in the official Mildly Interesting Questions archive. So you've successfully completed that challenge. Yeah.
I mean, there's also the video archive. We'll post them online and stuff. But this is the one that matters to me.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. You have been a joy and a delight. I'm so happy to have finally met you. I'm so honored to have had you on our show. Rick, before we let Christina Rose go, do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Or do you just want to wrap this up and put a tiny little bow on it?
Yeah, I just, again, really appreciate you taking the time. Enjoyed really doing the research and seeing like all the different beers that you've captured and cataloged, and just getting the chance to sit here and have a beer with you and chat a little bit has been great. And we'll definitely either have you to Portland and do this live, or we will have you come hang out with us again. And
she doesn't have to do the show again if she comes to Portland.
No, I meant just have the beer live.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We should go have the beer live.
Yes.
I was just like, don't make her be on camera again.
No,
she can record her own stuff. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
because I
agree with that.
I think like Loyal Legion would be a great place.
That's exactly what I was thinking. How many
900
taps?
and I don't know, 999,000. It has way too many taps.
The bar is very large, and it's
a long bar with taps on both sides. So, but it's been, thank you for the education, and thank you for continuing to educate us about beer. I'm definitely looking forward to following along and learning more about the craft brews that you find. So thank you, Christina.
Yeah. Thank you both for having me. This was really fun.
That's my favorite thing to hear. Awesome. Well, have a really lovely rest of your evening. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.